It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming for Thursday, December 26th. From the Cowboy State Daily newsroom, I'm Wendy Corr. Tucked away in the government spending bill that Congress passed over the weekend to avert a government shutdown are a few provisions that could have a significant impact on Wyoming health care. Cowboy State Daily's Leah Wolfson reports that the spending bill allows acute hospital care at home and telehealth temporary waivers to continue through March 31st.
So many people in Wyoming live so far from their healthcare services. They often have to travel hundreds of miles to get to a healthcare provider. But what telehealth has really provided them since the COVID pandemic is the ability to receive these telehealth services at home. There was a waiver granting that service as part of some of the COVID funding money, and that was extended at least till the end of March because of the government spending package.
Congress is expected to enact more comprehensive healthcare measures next year under President-elect Donald Trump. Well, when it comes to bagging big, dangerous critters, hunters want all the knockdown power they can get, and a Cody-based company has taken that to the extreme. Bighorn Armory Incorporated touts its AR-500 as the world's most powerful AR-style rifle. The semi-automatic weapon is chambered in the company's own 500 Automax cartridge and can thump out half-inch diameter bullets just as fast as a shooter can stand to pull the trigger. Greg Buckle, the company's founder and president, founded the Cody-based company after the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum cartridge was created. He told Cowboy State Daily he and a neighbor thought they should make a lever-action rifle chambered for that cartridge. As they grew in popularity, Bighorn Armory decided to produce an AR chambered big enough to take down anything that might lumber across North America and came up with the 500 Automax cartridge. Well, in the days leading up to Christmas, Santa Claus should have been in overdrive preparing to traverse the globe, giving his list a second check. Instead, he found himself once again in a precarious situation south of Casper. Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi reports that nobody knows who keeps putting Santa in such a precarious situation.
West of Casper, heading towards Alcova on Highway 220, there's Santa's sleigh crashed into a juniper bush, and Santa is hanging on with one arm off the side of a cliff. And it's not photoshopped or AI as many people thought. It's a real decoration. You can drive past it and people look for it every year, and it's been there for several years.
Despite a lot of people who enjoy seeing it, nobody's fessing up to knowing who leaves Santa hanging every year. I'll be back with more news right after this.
Are you fabulous and 55? Are you ready to use your valuable time and talent to give back? Join Serve Wyoming through the AmeriCorps Seniors Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, or RSVP, and make a positive impact on your community. With a lifetime of skills and experiences, you're exactly what your community needs. Whether you're itching to lend a hand or your organization could use some extra support, we've got you covered. Call Sarah Roberts at Serve Wyoming at 307-234-3428 or RSVP at servewyoming.org.
The spirit of Christmas comes to life every year in Sheridan at one of the city's historic mansions. Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean spent an evening at the Kendricks mansion where reenactors shared a day in the life of the Kendricks at Christmas in 1924. She said it was an intimate and cozy trip back in time.
They put on the right costume for the year. They have the right artifacts in place. They go through the diaries, the newspaper clippings, and they read them for, like highlights of the Kendrick year. And they call it Christmas with the Kendricks.
This festive day in the life of the famous Wyoming family unfolds one room at a time with a script that's been carefully researched and written by Trail and staff based on both the real people and the real events of the Kendricks' lives in Wyoming. And for someone who already didn't like heights to begin with, like U.S. Senator Craig Thomas, this incident was about as terrifying as it gets. While flying somewhere over northwest Wyoming in the late 1990s, a latch on the door of the small state-owned plane that Thomas and then Governor Jim Geringer were flying on came open. Cowboy State Daily's Leah Wolfson spoke to Gail Geringer, Thomas's former chief of staff, who said despite his fears, Thomas never hesitated about getting on a plane, even though he didn't enjoy it.
They were never at risk safety-wise, but it was a little scary, particularly considering that Thomas was not a fan of heights, and he kind of overcame that fear throughout his life. Surprisingly, he was also a private pilot. He would routinely take people up to the Capitol Dome when they were visiting from Wyoming. He was really a man that just kind of faced his challenges head on.
Another former chief of staff, Liz Brimmer, said Thomas's desire to face his fears was emblematic of everything he did during a lifetime that included service in the U.S. Marines. He died in office in 2007 from complications of leukemia. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting the daily newsletter button on cowboystatedaily.com. I'm Wendy Corr for Cowboy State Daily.